Hello, everyone. Welcome once again. It is Wednesday, April the 7th. We're in the middle of week 12. Um, so, hope you're writing your rough draft, or at the very least, finishing up on West of the West. Let's see. I want to start by sharing a couple of announcements. First things first, you all should have received an email from Janelle Bush um, announcing her. Well, this is something different. She's just reminding you about, again, Janelle Bush is our past tutor. She's reminding you um, about the past online tutoring that is available. And of course, I um, I'm offering extra credit, 5 points of extra credit. May not sound like a lot, but it's actually 5 points of extra credit. Think of it this way: if you lose 5 points on your rough draft, that's the difference. That's a letter grade. So that is significant right there. Um, but she's just reminding you that the PASS Center is open. An appointment is not necessary, so you may not work with her, but you may end up working with somebody else. Um, but these are trained tutors who are familiar with writing various writing assignments throughout the campus. They have worked with in some of the tutors have worked in literary analysis type of essays, so this should be a great help to you all. It says here, an appointment is not necessary, but highly important. You can keep your camera off, and you do not need your microphone on the whole time. So you can you can keep your camera off, and you can keep your microphone off. So um, so it's pretty much um, anxiety, and they're really helping you out all out on to avoid any of the anxiety of being online, and I know how that can be. So let's go ahead and go back to the class. Okay. Uh, just a friendly reminder that the essay is in MLA format. And I have here in student tools, let's just go into student view. Okay. So if we go into student view, I have linked in your student toolbox the MLA formatting guide. And it appears here. And this is where you can find the general formatting of an MLA essay. This should be review for you all. But if you scroll down, I'm going to go ahead and click that. I got the cookies. I got the cookie notice. If you scroll down, you'll see the paper format. See the general guidelines here. Formatting the first page of your paper here. Here's a sample paper in MLA style right here. Okay. If we click here, we have different links, MLA in text citations, because you will be finding quotes. And I'll be speaking about important quotes that you may use for this essay coming up. But you can read about basic in-text citations here. And you're also required to include a works cited page. There's the link here. Basic rules for the MLA works cited page. Now, even though this essay you know, your this essay is mainly a one source citation. You're still going to cite it because that's where you're pulling your quotes from. Now there are exceptions. There are a couple of exceptions. Um, the first exception is, I'm going to stop share. The first um, the first exception is the video, the Mark Arax interview that I've also have linked in the student toolbox. Um, and that's the link that I think that's the interview that is very closely related to the couple of different essays in the book. Um, in West of the West. And one being the last Okie of Lamont. Yeah, I think that's one. Yeah, I think that's the one. So the last Okie of Lamont is the one essay that is tied to that area. Okay, it's tied to that Bakersfield area, and this is exactly where in this video here, although um, the interview didn't actually make it into the book, but from the movie or from the interview, the C-SPAN interview. But um, you can see that Mark A. Rex was still pretty much visiting and writing more material, or probably constantly writing more material. Who knows? Maybe that interview with the African American gentleman who came from Oklahoma, uh, maybe he, you know, maybe he'll be the subject of a book. So, um, that being said, if you're going to cite from that video, um, you'll need to cite that in your works cited. And you'll also need to cite the video. There's a way to cite a video, and I'll show you what that looks like. Let me go back to sharing the screen here. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna have to pause it, and I'll find that information. Okay, so if you go to your MLA formatting and style guide and you click MLA works cited electronic sources, and we're already there, so I'm just going to go ahead and scroll down, and you can see how to cite a website, page on a website, an ebook, and all of these types of citations will be necessary in your final essay. They'll be important resources to learn from in your final essay. So keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Here they have, this is sort of brand new, but how to cite a tweet. And here we are, citing a YouTube video. So that's where I got the video from, is from YouTube. So citing a YouTube video in MLA style, you would here, being that Mark Arax isn't the one conducting the interview, he's actually being followed he's being followed along by a C-SPAN crew. So the citation is going to be C-SPAN, or whatever the name of the program is. And then the name of the interview would be, let's see, let me come back over here and get the video up so we can see Here it is right here in Student Toolbox, Mark A-Rex interview. I'm gonna go ahead and click on it. Hopefully it's still up. Yes, it's still up. So I'm gonna pause that. Okay, so if you can see here, this is what you would include in your citation. I'm gonna go full screen here. But right here is the author, C-SPAN Cities Tour. That's the author, not Mark A-Rex. C-SPAN Cities Tour. The name of the interview is Bakersfield, Mark A-Rex, Bakersfield, Mark A-Rex, quotation mark, west of the West, end quote. So that's what you will be citing. So you're not citing Mark A-Rex as the interviewer, you're citing C-SPAN Cities Tour to be specific. Okay, so let's go back to the here. So if we were to replace this name, we would replace it with C-SPAN Cities Tour, and in the interview, you would have quote Bakersfield Mark A-Rex, or yeah, quote west of the West, end quote, period. That would and then another quotation mark. Actually, you would not do. You would do kind of like the. I should show you. So let me open up a Word document, and I'll show you how that works. Okay, so I have the citation here, and before we get into the citation, I want to show you a little shortcut on changing the font and changing the font style and the font size. So what you can do is, and here's another shortcut, a couple of different shortcuts. But if you want to highlight like an entire page all at once, instead of like clicking, doing your 2 clicks and click and then scrolling, you just go Control A, and the entire document is highlighted. And what we're going to do with that, I'm going to right click. Yeah, so make sure that when you do right click, that you right click on the part that is already shaded. As you can see here, you have the little font bar. And since we are in Times New Roman for this essay, we'll click on Times New Roman, and we're going to go to 12 fonts, and there you have it. So really just one quick little stroke here. You're just using your right click instead of going all the way over here, and if you're going to change the font size or the font style, and you want to do entire document, you don't need to do all this whole thing where you're citing an entire block of text. You could just simply do Control A, and the whole document is cited for you. So there's a little shortcut there for you all. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and expand this so we can all see, get a better feel, better view. And I'm just going to go ahead and type my works cited here. I'm going to go ahead and use my shortcut. Just imagine this is works cited, and you're citing you're citing not the essay, but you're citing the video. So what I have here for the author is C-SPAN Cities Tour, quotation mark, Bakersfield, Mark A-Rex, quote, west of the West, end quote. And I have a third one here, like a little teardrop, because this is a title here. And this is, so you're citing the title, but then you're also this is the title of the book, but also the entire title of the video is this. So you need that little third quote, and or that little third quotation mark. And how you achieve that is simply just you hit the quotation mark button, and then right below that is the little comma button, and you just hit that, or the little quotation button. It's like on the same button, but you don't hit the shift key, and uh, that third little mark will appear. I call it a teardrop. Teardrop. It's essentially your apostrophe. So, um, so that's how that works. Then you go into YouTube, which is the main source, the primary source for the video. That's why it's italicized, and that's why the title isn't italicized here, uh, because this is like the main source here. This is the main source. And then this is where it gets a little bit tricky, but according to the MLA, they have uploaded by C-SPAN. And now, in the example that they shared with you all, in an example that they shared with you all, they had a right here. They had two different sources. So we had the big thing that was sort of like the YouTube channel, and then the author of the video, Jamie McGonigal. Well, since we don't have the author of the video, uh, then what we do is just include the name of the main source that uploaded the video, which was C-SPAN. But if you choose to omit that part because you already have C-SPAN here, I'm perfectly okay with that. It's it's either way you're citing C-SPAN, so it's not a big deal if you include it or not. But if you just want to be exact, you may. One of the things that the MLA community recognizes is in the world of the internet, things change. Citations change constantly because there's constantly rapid changes online. So, and we're still going like literally by the second, things are changing in terms of how we cite, stuff like that. So there's always some kind of new media format, new media platform that is created. So then we have the date, which is your standard MLA. It's actually your British. This is how they cite in Europe. But 5 July 2013, that's the date of the video, comma, and then of course the web link. So that's how you cite a video. Okay. And that was my Spotify. So let me just go back. Stop the share. The other thing you may want to cite, because that was the first exception, was the video, but your own work from your journals, from your assignment journals, you can use those. You can certainly use those. You don't have to cite them in Works Cited, but it's up to you if you want to include them in your work, either by quote, using, pulling from your journals and saying specifically, this is what I wrote in my journal in response, or this is what I found interesting that I wrote on such and such a date in my journal. Or you can simply borrow your own text because it's your writing and incorporate it into your text. Now, as far as um, making it a cohesive piece of text so that way it doesn't sound awkward, you're going to have to work that out. How are you going to work that text, work your journal into your writing so it sounds seamless, so it reads seamless? That's going to require a bit of editing on your part, but it shouldn't be too difficult. So those are just a couple of options that you can use. You're not required to cite a video, the Mark Arex interview. You're also not required to cite your own work, but they are there if you choose. So those are the options. Finally, I just want to mention that in your textbook, on starting on page 272, starting on page 275 through uh, 285. 285. So uh, there's a 10-page documentation guide on MLA and the APA format. So that could be a very good resource for you all as well. So, and then immediately following the documentation guide, there are sample essays that shows you how to cite your evidence within your paper, how to do works cited, et cetera, et cetera. So that's something that you can also, that's a source that you can also pull from. So, okay, I'm going to pause the video and we'll start talking about Mark Arax. Okay, and there you go.